We're starting. So welcome. And today I just love her energy. I've been following you for a while on Instagram. But it's just gonna be easier. I'm gonna just let her introduce herself and her business. And yes, how are you doing?
Just put me on the spot like that.
Exactly, that's how it works.
Okay, so what should I tell you? Okay, so my name's Mel.
That's a good start.
Yeah, exactly. My name is Mel. My business was gifted to me, basically. I had a friend who was like my mom. She was always like my friend that I looked up to and aspired to be like. She was older than me, or is older than me, and she decided to immigrate. And like I've always been an artsy fartsy person. Like I'm a social worker. I've got my master's in social work, but I've got kids. So I never wanted to do the like social worky stuff because it's quite draining. And like I was playing around with stuff at home, and it was my birthday coming up. And my husband said, "What do you want?" And I was like, "Oh, I'd really like this kind of machine, but like it's quite an investment." And then my friend said she was leaving, and the whole package, like all these tools were part of the package. So my husband was like, "Instead of buying you this machine, let's buy the business."
Wow.
My insides were like, "What?"
Where do you find a husband like this?
What the heck? Exactly. Well, like I am not like, so by nature, I'm not a business person, which is the funniest thing. Like I really believe in following my instincts. Like I'm a social worker. It's how I lead my life. It's how I live my life. Like I've always been involved in NGO work and outreach work and trying to better South Africa. So I decided, like, what better opportunity? Like, first, I absolutely didn't know what to do with myself. Like, oh my God, I can't even, like, my math skills are ridiculous. Like, my 8-year-old is better than me. but I figured, like, there's no harm in trying.
Sure.
So that's my whole attitude, is like, if you don't try, then you'll never know. And that's what I like about your stuff, because the whole idea is like being true to yourself and being true to your vision, and try, and if you fail, try again, and like in the end you'll get where you want to go. So like I took over this business that was quite established within certain communities. It wasn't like a South African brand. And like anything that I do, like I'm so proudly South African. Even with all our chaos, you don't get, like, I live, breathe, eat, sleep for this country. So my whole idea was, I'm going to take this business and I will grow it from the ground up, and I will use it as a tool to empower people that don't have incomes, and they will become, like, we'll upskill people, and they'll come with me on this insane journey.
That's amazing.
How's that for a story? So the bottom line is, I'm an entrepreneur that doesn't really know what I'm doing.
I think a lot of us.
But I'm having fun. But I'm having fun while I'm doing it, which I think like a lot of people are drawn to, because I'm nuts. And there's like this positive force with it, that I'm empowering people. Like I've had the business for just over a year. I started in lockdown, like at level 5.
Best timing ever.
Yeah, my husband was like, what are we doing? Like, let's pull out. I was like, no, we've made this decision, we're going with it. Like, no. And it's grown bigger than I ever imagined. I mean, it's still small, but it's not as big, like it's not as small as I thought it would be. Like I now hire people, even though it's part-time and it's like on a come and go basis kind of thing. Like I'm nearly ready to take the next step into hiring permanent staff, which is just mad.
Crazy,
So yeah.
huh? But I think, you know, it's a good point what you're saying about the fun. And I think that's the important part. If you have a business, you need to learn to have fun along the way. It cannot be all the time serious, because if it's going to be serious all the time, I don't think you can survive that journey of entrepreneurship, because it is a roller coaster. Like, you know, someone asked me, like, okay, so what do you do in the roller coaster? I was like, I don't know. I just learned to enjoy the ride. You know?
Just put your hands in there and you go, woo!
And you guys need to test, right? So you can literally like lifting our heads up, hands up. But it is, you know, it is part of it. It's like, how can you survive without like having fun and like making jokes and stuff? Because it's hard, right? You can say it, like
And
you've been in that for a year.
if you don't enjoy going to work, like I've worked in a job before that I hated, and I wasn't my own boss. Like the best thing about being an entrepreneur to me is like being able to don't do it. Like if there's a cause, or if there's a product, or if there's something that you believe in, go for it. You know, take calculated risks, but know that like in your heart and soul, it's what fits you.
And I think that's a good thing, like, you know, for everyone to remember, what's the why? If you know why you do what you do, so whenever it's getting tough, you go and remind yourself, this is why I do it. Now I need to find like the encouragement to remind me that constantly. So I think without this, it's going to be like, that's tough. Like I know that I want to give up so many times. I'll ask you, how many times do you wanted to give up?
So I'm lucky because for me the drive is so much bigger than myself. Like I truly believe in like, if you are blessed, passing on the blessing, which is why I'm so passionate about South Africa. Like South Africa has given me so much. I have the ability to give so much back. And that is my driving force behind my business. Like my business is not for me. Yes, I've got kids. Yes, my kids see me working hard. But essentially, like the driving force behind what I'm doing is to be a business for good, a business for upliftment, a business for support, a brand that, you know, is relatable, like a human brand. I don't want to be like a big fancy brand that everyone knows, but doesn't have that element of connectedness.
Yeah, that personal touch.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the differences also between also in some of the big companies that you see, it's a family company. That so you know the people, the owner, like it's like a long story. And I guess that's also like, you know, when you become entrepreneur, you really need to decide how you do it that will be right in the right way for you. And you are in control to how far you want to take your business, right? How much you want to grow, where you want to take it.
Correct.
And then you can say, okay, you know what, for me, it's enough this little small community I have around me. But for something like, no, I want to be like global and I want to go way bigger than that. But again, that's for your personality, and that's what you need to find a way to do what's right for you. And that's why I like.
But I also think that it's something that you grow into. Like when I took over the business, I knew nothing. Like I knew how to play around with what I, you know, like I had the arts and crafts, because the whole business is about personalized gifting. So I knew how to like play with the machines and, you know, but when it comes to all the different aspects of a business, like your service providers and your interfaces and the social media and the, you know, it becomes overwhelming. And only I found like my whole thing was, let me get to an understanding of what I'm doing first. Like, so I started off really small. So I started off with like saying 2 service providers. And then as you become more comfortable, grow in what you're doing. And I think that happens the same with expansion. You know, like I'm starting off now as a small baby company. I love, like, I know that the personal touch will be part of what I do for forever because it's who I am and my business has to be true to me. But like expand as and when, as it feels right, as you feel more in control. There really is no limit.
There isn't, and I guess that's why, like, everyone, like, who listen, they really need to think with themselves, okay, what's right for me now in my personal life, to my personal capacity, where I want to be, and say, like, you know, sometimes you think and say, like, maybe it's not the right time for me to expand my business, but in a year or two from now, after I'm going to sort certain things in my life, I'm going to invest in getting there. And I think that's the nice thing. Like, we do need to learn to listen to ourselves more and more. Yeah. And I love it that you had the courage, like, you know, like, to change that journey and get someone else's business and then just go with us. And I love it that every time, and I see you in everything, that you're really pushing yourself all the time outside of your comfort zone. I remember I was doing a live, and then out of nowhere you've done a live. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so
but that's the beauty. But that is exactly the beauty, is that the world is so full of opportunities. All you need to do is be open to accepting them. Like, I know I get a lot of ideas from following your social media. Like, oh, puppy.
Yeah, I was more afraid that you guys gonna hear the washing machine in the background, but I guess you're gonna hear my puppies.
But that's exactly the point. Like, life, business, reality. Like, be centered in your reality. I think, and like, that's the most important. Like, we all humans.
And I think that's what I like about it, you know, because, like, even when I do my stuff, I always say, like, you know, we're human beings, we're all working from home. I don't have like a fancy studio to do stuff from. I'm doing it with my stuff at home, and that's good. But it's not only about, like, you know, this stuff. It's like being actually real. You know, let's be realistic. For most of us as entrepreneurs, we don't have that extra money to build a room with soundproofs and stuff like this and get, seriously, we do what we can with what we've got. So yes, so maybe the kid will interrupt in the background, or like in my case, the dog, or maybe my washing will probably make some sounds in between. And that's okay. We apologize.
It is.
And the second part, you know, that's who we are. Like, that's part of the journey. That's the beauty of it, right?
And I think that's also what Corona, like, I think that working during Corona circumstances, I think people have become more understanding of the fact that, like, we are just human. We are all just trying our best, whatever our best is. And everyone's best is different.
True. And that's a question to ask yourself. What's your best? And be okay with this. She's
exactly.
not, by the way.
And if you're not okay with it, okay?
No, I was saying, like, you were nodding while I was like, Jenny, I was like, okay, cool.
But if you're not your best, then it's also okay to, like, take a step back and look at it and rethink it. You can't be your best always. There's no such thing. Just as long as you are trying your best.
And I think
that's my opinion.
No, and I think it's a great tip for those who want to start this journey and afraid, or in that journey, you know, really give it a try. You've got nothing to lose. That's first of all. I prefer in life, you know, to know that I gave it a try and it wasn't working, versus not to give it a try and then see other people are doing
it. Never know. Yeah.
Like, really? Seriously? I could have actually done it, and what the hell? Like, seriously. So I do believe in this. So if someone will ask you, like, what's the best tips you can give someone, that want to start a business or actually looking maybe on giving up?
Believe in yourself.
That's a good one. That's so
Not
easy. It's
yeah, exactly.
it's not easy.
It's not that easy, but break it down. Believe in yourself. Believe, like, if you believe in what you're doing, like if you have the passion and the drive, and if exactly like you're saying, if you can identify the why, like, you can do anything, even if it's in bite-sized chunks. Like, dude, when I started, I couldn't even afford to buy the packaging for my business. Like, it, you know, like a business it's a huge undertaking. So you know what, in the beginning I started packaging in these gross plastic packets. But as I grew, I could focus on the things that I wanted. You know, for me, putting out a product that I was proud of, the packaging would come after. So it's about the baby steps. And I also believe, and I think you know this from following me, like your personality, if people can relate to you, they will understand, you know, why your packaging, you know, is going to take some time to come along. Or, you know, I think if you are relatable, if people can communicate with you, if you are open and honest, it will come.
And I
'Cause
think it's a
that's
good one what you're saying. And I think it's like a great thing that people need to remember. You can also share, you know, share it on social media, the behind the scene, share the struggles. Don't be afraid. And that's why I really wanted to do this type of podcast, which I keep repeating, is because I do want people to understand it's not all fun and joy and happiness. And as people are trying to sell you on social media, because you know, I think like people so tend to sell on social media that like, what do you mean? I always get business opportunities from Instagram, from LinkedIn, or whatsoever. Everything works so smoothly to me. No, it doesn't.
hard
Even
work.
me, that like come from marketing for so many years, I was sitting there like, how certain people get leads from Instagram and I get nothing. I couldn't understand the beginning. It's a hard work. You need to understand things. You need to work a certain way, the right way, also that it's also good for you. And you need to find it. And that's okay to share. So I don't mind sharing. I love it that you sharing as well. Like, you know, that maybe for now I cannot invest in this or come with idea for this or do like this in my business. And it's fine. But that's what people appreciate because it makes
Yeah,
them feel like, okay, I want to support her. I want to help her to get to that place. I want to support her
yeah.
local business. I want to do something else because like I'll buy my dog's food from a friend of mine that she's a small business owner, and I prefer to buy from her and not to buy from the big companies. So
So funny, because now, since, you know, I've always been, you know, trying to uplift the smaller people, but now that I'm a small business owner and I understand how excited you get when like an order comes through the website or someone says like, I really like your product. I only order through small business. My entire life is run through small business. I will not use a big brand for nothing because it is about the little people.
and I think that's the beauty because once you go onto this journey, you are respecting them way more. And I think that's also where, you know, the like human being, like as a nation, like we're going to, like, you know, um, to decide that we're going to support more and more, and there's going to be more and more small businesses versus the big ones.
Correct.
Because even the big ones are understanding that they are supporting. Because I know from my corporate life that we were supporting the small business owners as well with everything just to get them out there because we know how hard it is. So I think that's amazing. So what else can you want to share and tell or like advise those?
Networking,
Yes, network.
networking, networking, networking.
If you guys
Don't
it out,
be scared.
networking.
Yeah, exactly. Did you hear me? Should I spell it with my letters?
She's actually doing the YMCA kind of stuff.
Like, don't be scared of competition, I find that, like when it's so funny because I still do it to this day. Like you speak to people who are in a similar game and they'll go, well, I've got this supplier who la 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 la, but they won't want to give you the information about the supplier. Like it's some kind of secret that no one's allowed to know. It's your special superpower. Guess what? Like if you don't get it from them, you'll get it from somewhere else. If you are networking with people and supporting each other, you can actually achieve more. My child's home. Now you are going to see the challenge of being a stay-at-home mom and having a small business. We're about to be interrupted. Okay.
No, it's fine. But I'll go with what you're saying about the competition side, because I don't actually personally believe in a competition on the small business side, because each and every one of you got his own why, his own story, and if you put yourself out there and put your personality, and then that's what's gonna help you. And I love it when you're saying the networking, because I think it's super important, super crucial. And the nice thing today with networking, that some of them are on Zoom. So you can, if you're an introvert, you can remove the camera and you don't need to speak in the beginning.
Yeah.
Just observe. And then slowly you're gonna feel comfortable to put yourself out there.
100%. And then you'll find awesome people to follow, like this girl that I know, Big Consulting.
Who is that?
Regular tips that often, like, I'll look at them and I'll go, should I do this? Can I do this? Oh, let me try. And then, so it's networking, totally.
It is, and it's all about building relationships. It's all about building relationships, but building the relevant relationships for your business, for your personality. Yes. Build your own community. That community will be people that eventually can become your clients, but as well community of people that will be able to support you. Because we did spoke about, you really need to have the right supporting group, the people that you can get tips from, advices that you can actually pick up the phone and say, like, listen, I want to give up, and they'll say, no. Remember why you do what you do.
But you know what? It doesn't even have to be a network of people that you personally know.
Exactly.
That is the power that I've found from social media, and like Instagram specifically. Hold on 2 seconds. Sorry.
So while you did, that's the thing. That's how you do things. We are mingling and juggling
but that's the point, exactly like you're saying. I remember having like an insane amount of orders that I was struggling with right at the beginning of my business, like shortly after taking over, and my printer broke, and I was like, oh God, what am I going to do? And in my absolute hysteria, I asked my husband, I was literally hysterical because I didn't have all the connections yet. I was like on my own trying to get stuff done. Oh my God, guys, I'm dying. This is what my printer looks like right now. I've got about 50 t-shirts to make. And people followed the story. Like I wasn't putting it out there, necessarily. It was my way of venting, going, oh no, what am I going to do? But people related to it because things are not always perfect.
It's never going to be perfect. There's not such thing as the perfect moment, the perfect timing, the perfect content, whatever. Yeah, even for me, when I was working for corporates, I would create this catalog. No matter how many times people will go over that catalog, we're always going to find mistakes after when you print it. There's no such thing as perfection. Even if you're going to check different flyers and stuff like this. So first I want to say thank you so much for today. And thank you so much for sharing your story and being so open and honest about it. And I really hope that we inspired more females to do this and not to give up. And you're an amazing example how you can juggle between being a mom, having this strong like online appearance. At least I see you all the time on Instagram, and I think it's amazing what you do. So thank you so much for this. And if you have final words, that's your time.
Just do it. Even if you start off like with nothing, like even if it's about baking in your kitchen with like the minimal amount of whatever you want to do, whatever kind of business it is, believe in yourself. It will come.
I love it, and I've got nothing else to add.
Are you going to bake, or are you going to put
Actually, I love them both, but we'll see. I'll give it a thought. I'll bake while I do my social media.
Exactly. And then post it. Exactly. But that's exactly the point. Linking everything.
Yes. I was actually thinking of linking that I've dyed my hair. But I said, no, I look so bad. So I'm not. This I'm not going to post. This so I can actually like another stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who listens. And I'm going to put all our links in the description. So follow and check her out. Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.